One of my friends called me from Gurgaon, like, look, you come over, there are these nice swanky offices, you can work at night, get paid nice, you have to wear a headset and you have to take a fake name and a fake accent. So I did all of that and I joined G Capital in the industrial vertical, and then started making calls for JCPenney collections. So it's interesting. My first 4 months was doing JCPenney collections. Again, full circle. 25 years later, I was MD of their India unit. So the first band of GCCs that we saw in the first decade or the early part of the first decade was more from an offshoot of service. The thought process, the bent of mind, the ways of operating, the ways of communicating, the ways of aligning with the organization and culture was very different. Mindset was of service provider / order taker / delivery based on SLAs, and that was the premise. The premise did not go beyond that. The first band of GCCs that we saw in the first decade or the early part of the first decade was more from an offshoot of service provider. That's when we started threading in the aspect of storytelling.
Okay.
That I cannot go straight in front of the leader and say, because I'm so confident of my R square, I know you have to put it here. We went back to the drawing board, picked up a category which was more friendly, ready to drink water category. Nobody confronts with water, no conflicts. We told, put this category next to your baby diapers, you will see your lift in sales. When we see the sponsorship changing or not being there or kind of shaky, the GCC gets passed on across stakeholders like a hot potato. If I am a mid-market entrant today, I think as long as I have my focus and my charter right, I have the right people to start. I think that's very important.
Okay.
Everything else today will fall in place, but when you start your unit, it could be your 10, 15 or a 0 to 100 or whatever the story is. Your initial set of folks has to be kind of the core committed ones. The DNA of those people have to be more of entrepreneurial, treating it like a startup, and getting to that value proposition as soon as possible.
Okay.
I think that does not change.